Maltz, and I'm a real estate agent. And a little bit about Homes for Heroes was started after 9/11 here in Minnesota. In 2009, it went nationwide. And what it is we pay a fee to take a certain territory. And there are Homes for Heroes real estate agents. There's people that handle the mortgage side, which is Brian does. There's title companies. And what you do is you get a rebate of my commission. So how many places will give back part of their commission, but we do. And that amounts to, if you buy a home through the Homes for Heroes program, you would get 0.007. So it's $700 for every $100,000 of home purchase. If you sell a home through it, it's basically 25% of my commission. A portion of what we also make does go to the Homes for Heroes program. There has been well over $100 million given back from real estate agents since this thing started. They also do a lot of donations, grants and stuff. They've done over $1 million in grants and different things. So, I mean, if you just Google homesforheroes.com, you will find a ton of information. I mean, we could go through that on the website. We could spend a lot of time doing that, but there is so much information out there on the program. And I guess I believe in it. I was not a veteran. I was a lottery winner of 248 in 1971 during the Vietnam War, but I am a part of the Yellow Ribbon in my town. And I guess this is kind of my way, I feel, of giving back to, and it includes veterans. It also includes anybody, firefighters, first responders, and also anybody in the law enforcement. Those were the first three. It started out, then it added anybody in the education field and also medical fields when they went nationwide. So I kind of consider those areas all part of our heroes, okay? So that's a little bit of fun of it. My background, I was 35 years in the auto industry, 20 of that with Saturn, and I was a real favorite fan of, I think Saturn was a fantastic company, but they're no longer around. So, okay, maybe Brian can say a few words about himself, and I think we got about a little slide at least to show, is that right?
Well, I'm Brian Emerson. I'm with Edge Home Finance, and we are moving our offices just this week to someplace in Minnetonka. I don't know where. We're pretty much a virtual company, just like every other mortgage company. We are the largest wholesale lender in the United States for Freddie Mac loans, and that's the opposite of Fannie Mae. And there's 600 of us in my company. We had 20 loan officers a week. It's a pretty cool company. Just thought I'd show you something here. These are my father's dog tags from 1942. He was a private first class. He drove his half track onto the shores of Sicily, and he drove, when he got back to England, and he drove it through Normandy Beach and got all the way into Germany. So I just, and I just found these today because I wanted to bring something, my brother gave me. My brother's a Vietnam veteran. I am not. And he was in the 173rd Airborne Brigade, and he'd give me all my dad's stuff, and he's got the service medals and the ribbons, he's got coins from Germany and all that stuff. And I hadn't thought about that in quite some time, but, I thought that you might find these kind of interesting. Superior, Wisconsin.
And Brian does get back $500, correct, after the appraisal. That's part of how he participates also. And there are title companies that'll do a couple $100 discounts. So it can be a quite substantial savings by using the program. And I'm, like I said, it was started by Ruth Johnson in Minnesota, and I'm proud to be a part of it, okay? I'm not sure what we move along here. Is it?
Mm-hmm. There you go. Another one?
Yeah, I mean, are they on the board at all, or? Okay. So it just kind of goes through a few things, I guess. You can keep clicking on, I don't know. I mean, there's kind of the mission. You can read that. I mean, they're going to tell them who it kind of involves, all the different 5 different groups, basically. And if you notice on the side there, it's got the first responders and firefighters. They're first because they were the first to go into the Twin Towers. That's how they got that position.
Yeah, these are all Minnesota people because Homes for Heroes is located over by North Hennepin Junior College on Broadway there. And so everybody there, they gathered all these people. So I think she's a teacher. He was in the Guard. I don't know this guy and I don't know this guy, but Minnesota's real big for Homes for Heroes. We do a lot of transactions.
On that previous slide, I noticed it says pre-financing too, so
Mhm.
we can't use it today.
Right
Yeah,
up here,
any kind of mortgage.
any kind of mortgage, Jim.
You know, we do VA loans, we do conventional, we have first-time buyer loans, you know, and most of the heroes that we serve are the first-time buyers. Um, um, they get really interested in this program. Well, when you put $3,000 in their pocket at closing, that's a really nice refrigerator, you know.
And part of that can also be, I had one way out in Spicer that was a disabled veteran, first time we did together actually, and
Yeah.
she unfortunately, their closing was in Mexico for her brother's funeral. But she used hers towards closing costs to help out. So there are ways to work around it too. They're very flexible in making sure things, come out the best they can for the hero. Okay?
It took me 2 years to get her a loan. She got blown up in Iraq, and she was in Walter Reed for a year. Then she was discharged and got into some type of heavy drug and became really dependent upon that. But she got help and got straightened out, and it was literally 2 years before she got into her home, you know. And then to screw it up, her brother died of cancer down in Mexico, like a week before closing. Boy, you know, for somebody to go through all that pressure, you know, I think she's happy now, don't you?
She is graduating with her master's degree on May 5th. So I got a text here. She's excited. So, okay. So we're proud of her.
Yep, Jessica.
Yep.
We wanted to demo the Homes for Heroes site, but we can't get into the internet, I'm told. You know, and it has, you know, if you go to homesforheroes.com, you know, you'll learn all kinds of stuff about the good stuff that Homes for Heroes does. We donate lots of money from the monies that we earn to all kinds of stuff like the National Fraternal Order of Police. We help them build a response trailer. And Federal Express goes and brings that trailer to wherever they're told to within 24 hours. You know, they probably get a lot of speeding tickets doing that. I don't know. You know, we support the Volunteer Firefighters of America. We do all kinds of organizations. So go to the site and see the good that Homes for Heroes does. You get money and they get money. It's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, one of the recent ones was Angels of America's Fallen received $10,000 grant from Homes from Heroes. No Barriers Warriors program received $10,000 grant from Homes for Heroes. So, I mean, there's a lot of good foundations that they donate to as well. And that comes from part of our commission and then our yearly amount. I mean, we can buy a year to be a part of it and not even use and sell one home is a possibility. But they still get that certain amount of money for us to just be a part of it. And so.
You guys golf?
I am not a big golfer. I played softball for many years. I have cousins that won a national championship, but I get in the golf course. I'm usually in that guy's lane or that guy's lane, and I don't feel comfortable.
I
You do some,
sponsored
right?
a hole at the last one you guys had 3 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna
Really
say,
fun.
spend your money, you know.
You know what? I'll tell you, by the time I was on the 17th hole, and after, you know, they had vodka they were giving away, and boy, some of you guys were liquored up in a good mood.
Military would never do that.
No. But it's a fun, you know, it's a fun event.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'd be interested in getting more involved. I mean, I kind of through LinkedIn got connected with Sheila, and I'm really pleased to be here. Okay, I mean, thank you all for your service, and if I can get more involved to some degree, I would be willing to do that. Okay.
It's almost the connection.
Yes, I know. I've already figured that out. So I don't know if we go through this further or if you have questions. I mean, we could spend, going through the website hours, but it's just getting you an introductory and let you know what it's about. And thank you. And hopefully it's something you can keep in mind. I kind of promote it on LinkedIn so that money you might, but you might tell somebody and they at least have the opportunity to take advantage of, as it is quite a savings and we're pretty proud to be a part of it. So
Yeah.
questions?
Do you help finance modifications to homes for disabled?
Well, that would be done through either Fannie Mae or the VA now just came out with a program where you can buy a home and renovate it okay? And haven't done one because, it turns out that it's a new program, but the money is available. The money is available through the FHA. Also, the FHA has a $35,000 program. That's the limit. Or you can go with the different FHA where it's kind of unlimited. You have to get bids and all that stuff, and the contractor has to do the work and everything. And as far as rehabbing a home and getting it up to standards, we're capable of getting the job done.
Anything else?
Do you guys have business cards or brochures?
Got some things right here I can hand out. Okay, I got a card stapled inside and kind of just a basic one, and hope I got enough with them. I'll hand them out afterwards. Okay, thanks. Any other questions at all? Okay, well, we want to move on and keep the night going, but again, thank you all, and sure appreciate you being here. Okay,
Absolutely.
great opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah, and we can help them distribute that information online. And then obviously, if you're interested, I mean, that's it, right? Getting access to information. If I can save $3,000 on something, I'm there. So excellent. Becky, yes, hold on. Let me see if I don't break this. There you go. Please go ahead. All right, introduce our next speaker and read on. There we go.
Well, our next speaker is Patricia Maltz, and I probably will just share that I know Brian and have known him for 20 plus 30, a long time. And he has been a sponsor of our golf event. So he called me last year. What's going on with that thing? How come nobody's called me? So Patricia will be joining us here, and Patricia has a great background, and I'm not even going to try to figure out what to say about her because she's so amazing and has worked with people that you would be like, who? Really? She's worked with famous people all over the country. She works now primarily on working with people to develop, I don't even know what I would say, it's a 7-step creative process, but, and she has a couple different things that she's working on, all about kind of personal development, I think we'd call it. And she was living in Florida. She was there, yes, during like Ian. And living and working there. The place that she was living at was flooded at the first level on the second floor, and the garage was flooded, destroyed a colleague's car. So been through a lot of different things. She's back in Minnesota at least working on a variety of things, and we had chatted, and we have had so many members here that were project managers. For our project managers, remember when that was like a lot of things were getting a certification, whatever, like project manager, it's crazy. And she's got some insights on what probably wasn't covered more than the legal side of doing project management. So here's Patricia, and I'm sure she'll tell you a little bit more background if she wants to. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm honored to be here. I have no idea how to do this thing. So, but I'll get some instructions to make it happen.
You can just use the mouse
Uh-huh.
and click right there to move
Perfect.
the slides forward.
All right, I'll get that done. I appreciate being here. As we were doing the Pledge of Allegiance, I was reminded of being in the one-room country schoolhouse, which is where I learned to do that. I'm from Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, and was in one of the last one-room country schoolhouses in this state. It kind of dates me, but that's part of it. And the other piece is that I'm the product of 2 Marines. Okay, so my father served in the Pacific, and I don't know, was close to some kind of a mine. So as a child, you learn never to touch him if he was sleeping. And periodically he would get pieces of shrapnel out of his legs. Okay, so I remember that. And my mother played the clarinet in the all-women's Marine Corps band. And they raised money on the east side of the Mississippi River for war bonds. and flew around in some cargo jet, generally landed on the runways, not always, but raised a lot of money. And I spent my growing up years going to Women's Marine Corps reunions. And if that wasn't a feisty bunch, you know it. So there's other stories about those Marines and Camp Lejeune, but we'll move on to the issue of the human side of project management. So I want to make sure that I use this time to support your needs. So I'd be interested in if there's specific things that prompted you to want to be here tonight to listen to this, if that's why you came, or not. If there's something specific you'd like to know, make sure that I get it down. Open to questions as we go through the presentation. Anything you want to come forward with right now that you're interested in? Okay, so you've all been around project management, right? And you all know, as we talk about this project and about the project of volunteers and all the rest of it, it's all about the human beings. There's technology, there's all sorts of tools that one can use, but the success of project management lies in the people, okay? And so we want to talk, and what I talk about is where the people fit in project management. And let me just kind of go through a few of these. I'm sure you all know that the success of any project relates to the ability to lead the project, to communicate effectively, to manage the conflict, because of course there is some. The important piece of building trust, and that's related to the leadership capacity of the ability of the project leader and the individual members to trust what's going to happen with this project and the work that they're doing, and creating accountability and collaboration. And those are all people skills. Those are not something you get in an Excel spreadsheet or any other tool. And so we want to talk a little bit more about those. The benefit of really addressing those is that you really have a lot more out of your team, and you get greater success with your project. So we want to make sure that those things happen. We put together the human side of project management. We use with our partner is Gerald Leonard, the handsome man in the center there. And he has a company called Productivity Intelligence Institute. And he focuses in on project management. He does a number of things with the Department of Transportation in the state of Virginia, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, he's part of Turnberry. And is certified as a minority service provider. And then Unlimited Futures Today, looks like I skipped a slide there. No, I guess I didn't. Anyhow, Unlimited Futures Today is founded by Bobby Stevens. And this is the gal that lived in the condo that went through Hurricane Ian, that lost the car in the garage and all the rest of it. So it was without electricity for, I think, about 2 weeks. She's a speaker, an author, and a thought leader. And Bobby brought Unlimited Futures Today to life back in Excelsior, back in about 1985, 87, when she identified some behaviors or some process, actually, about how to create what you want to have in your life. And it's a 7-step process. And it talks about energy and all the things that we all probably know about, and how to increase your capacity to do that. It also allows you to do some healing of your own mind and your body and address some health issues, and we'll talk about those a little bit more. You know, places where the human side of project management show up, we've talked a little bit about this, team collaboration, those kinds of things, understanding project goals, also stakeholder roles. And I don't know of other places that I don't have listed here. Do you have any that you've experienced in your project management days that I don't, and I haven't identified? It's a pretty quiet group. Okay, well, we'll go on and see what else comes up. Oh, please, yes, change management is a really good example, and particularly when you have no idea where the change management is taking you. Okay, because we don't know always. I remember working with Detroit Edison when they deregulated the electric business, the utility business, and we had to have leaders that could inspire trust to take people and teams forward with no real idea of how this was going to turn out. And so change management is a key piece. And if I'm thinking, now I personally have not been in the military, but I'm thinking that in the military, when you go out, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when where the project is going, when you're out on maneuvers, when you're out doing whatever. And that's another example of not knowing and being able to lead, have trust, have team collaboration, all of those pieces to end up someplace safe would be my guess. But as I said, I haven't walked in your shoes on that. So any other ideas besides change management? That was an excellent one. Thank you. Oh, sure. I think we can. We'll see. Did I do it? Is that the right slide to go back to? Yep. Okay. Any other ones that you want to add? Financial, that would be another place where the human side shows up in values. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that state have is like the deliver, and usually deliver. And it goes both like that.
Sure. When you have those kinds of situations, where do the beliefs of the individual members of the team show up?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
from execution, trying to build something which the user, they hope that they get something that allows them to get.
Okay.
Even in that, right, there's a lot of information that scripture is explained how it's utilized, right?
Okay.
Projects that they did. So, the expectation of self-decision to feel early
Mm-hmm.
or from based, right? Still, that's the problem.
Right. Absolutely. That is one of the challenges. I'm going to move forward. Is there any other? I appreciate that. Thank you. Constraints.
What I found is with some of these stakeholders, you often been decades in getting that experience and work strengths so that get project they don't. If you give an engineer an objective, they're going to get it there. But if you don't have that experience, strengths, it's not there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And part of that would be communication, the ability to communicate, how to move around it.
From the consultant, so the people that are doing things a while and then get them to buy in.
Sure. Okay, thank you. So now we have three new things: change management, financial, and the constraints. Okay, anything else? Yes. Okay. Okay. What would be kind of a common term to classify that? coming and going. The revolving door, turnover is okay. Turnover, revolving door, good. Any others that come to mind? I'm going to come back and kind of talk about what all of these pieces are from the work that we do at Unlimited Futures, but I'll move forward. It's important, and the message that I want to say is that the key to the success of project management has a great role in success around the human side. It's the people, and we'll talk a little bit more about beliefs, about vision, about the clarity of the project. All of those pieces become important components. There are some examples where there's been some great leadership and great outcomes when the focus was on project or on the human side of project management, and I listed those: the London Olympics, Boeing, Hubble Telescope, and of course the One World Trade Center. All have been acknowledged as great examples of people working together. So at Unlimited Futures, we believe that all of existence are these three things: love and intelligence and energy working together. There's lots of scientific data about the energy working together, that we are not separate. We are all connected energetically around the world, around this room, all the rest of it. And there's more and more science that actually confirms these kinds of things. What Dr. Stevens discovered before we had the scientific community confirming it was this information, that we are all connected, that it is energy, we are creators, and together we're creating world experiences. Now, she takes that into what she created, which are the 7 steps in the creative process, and we'll come into that in just a minute here. But the next piece is about what blocks our ability to create. And this again gets into this human side, because the primary thing that blocks our ability to have clarity, to have the ability to stay focused, to address these problems is our overstressed bodies, our overstressed minds. How many of you do meditation? Okay. Would what? Could be.
I do.
Okay, could be a time where you're quiet, where you just focus, and just have some peace and connection. You're active meditator. How long? How much time?
Probably 2015. So,
Okay, so you started meditating?
yeah. Oh, I had to, yeah.
Okay,
Was it?
perfect. Okay, anybody else meditate? And do woodworking or any other kind of project?
Fishing.
Fishing, yes, in the fishing boat is a great meditative place. Others? Becky does. Okay, other meditation techniques? There are 2 kinds of meditation. One of them is mantra, which is where you are quiet and you're saying a word like love to yourself. Okay, and you just get more and more quiet. And then there are guided meditations, and a lot of people listen to music. I see some heads shaking back there. It's some kind of sounds, maybe it's water, maybe it's the waves, any of those kinds of things. Fishing boats make a great place for that guided meditation, and just listening to the sounds. But what it does is it connects, it calms your body down and releases some of the stress. Now, the other thing that Dr. Stevens, discovered were some yoga postures. Anyone here do yoga postures? Okay, we got some yoga going on. Becky, yes, good, good. I've worked with some athletes, like football players they go on and on about what they do in terms of physical exercise. And then I say, well, let's try these yoga postures. Okay. And they can't do them. they're subtle, easy, gentle movements. And there's a whole series of them that we can recommend if you're interested. But there's a routine that as you do the yoga postures and you do the meditation, your capacity to deal with everyday life often increases. Your capacity to have more intuitive feelings, understandings, knowledge coming to you often increases. Does anybody ever have intuition guide them? Yes, yes. Okay, how do you know that it's real?
Whatever you intuited shows up.
Oh, okay. You've attracted it? Yes. Okay. How about for you? How do you know to trust it? A very what? Okay, when your mind's empty, because intuition is a heart energy activity, not a mind activity. You know that your heart is 5,000 times more powerful than your mind, and your mind gets lost in the details. You can spiral in, and then you're lost. But if you are doing the meditation and the yoga and stuff and connecting with your heart, you have great capacity to do that. Yes, ma'am?
I was actually teaching a yoga class, intuition. I came up with a great recipe,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not a good cook. I tried it, and it was freaking amazing. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm teaching the class. I'm like, okay, I gotta flame it, a bacon wrap, flame it in down, grill on a charcoal. And then as you're doing that setting after it's like perfectly done, I'm thinking where I had a chocolate rum sauce that melted into the steak. Oh yeah. And then I had a raspberry compote, like it was like steak dessert. It was amazing. Yeah, what was the recipe? Yeah, that was the recipe. Yes. And then,
I volunteer to come over and help you right out.
no, I've done it.
Oh,
So I included it. I tried it. It was amazing, but we can do it again. Bring your chainsaw.
all right.
We come to my house with a chainsaw. I will feed you.
You might have to go to the hospital after. Yes.
Yeah.
How-
The compote is, I'll buy a chainsaw.
Just a fresh raspberry pizza.
Yeah.
I'm in.
How many of you have used your intuition in your work, in your life, in your military careers? You've just been guided by it? Yes. Did you feel, was it good? Do you want to be able to use it more?
We did die.
That was really good.
That's always good.
If you want to increase your capacity to use your intuition, I'm here to tell you meditation and yoga postures. Okay. If you need help, come see me afterwards. I'll help you figure out what they are and how to do them and that kind of thing. But stress is a key piece to doing whatever it is you need to do to relieve the things that block your awareness of your ability to create. And I thought it was interesting when you were talking about the job fair, because one of the things that becomes really important is being really clear about what kind of job you want to have in your life. Okay? Yeah, yeah. First, and we'll get into the 7 steps, but I'm going to just talk a little bit about clarity as the very first thing. Clarity is really important. Clarity is important in your house. What kind of house do you want to attract into your life? I'm getting off of the human side of project management, but clarity in the project management. We were talking about the issues of stakeholders. Okay, being really clear about these projects And what does that mean to each individual in the team? Make sure you've got one that everybody can support, to know what that is. So that's a really important piece. The other piece that blocks our awareness or our ability to create are untrue or limited beliefs. Okay? The belief that we are separate, the belief that we need to compete with each other, all of these kinds of beliefs are no longer working. And they've been proven that they're not functional. It's not working too well in this world to think that we are separate or that we need to compete with each other. We need to be working together, and we need to be supporting each other. And that, obviously, this group is doing a tremendously good job of that. But I don't know if you're doing it out of an awareness that you're not separate. You can think about that. I'm not here to decide, okay? I just think, the underlying thinking that goes on becomes really important. Those are just a couple of the untrue beliefs, and there are lots of them out there that we can talk about more. But they block our abilities because we learn these things, all of our stuff that we all know, when we were what? 4 years old, 2 years old, 6 years old. We learned them growing up. We got them from our communities, our families, our parents, our schools, our religions, our governments. We got them, our experiences. And we have thoughts and feelings and attention, and they produced actions, and that delivers more experiences. And of course, as we created with these, we created more experiences that often reinforced the belief that wasn't correct in the first place. Okay? And so until we become aware of what we believe, and as you do project management, you're going to hear things like, we have to do it this way, we should do it that way, we must do it this way. Here's how you do it, okay? You recognize all those as belief statements, right?
Don't forget that won't work.
Oh, yeah.
Or this won't work, that's stupid.
Exactly. All of those are belief statements, and until we uncover what the real beliefs are and why and what we can do or how we might approach that differently, we're going to create more of those experiences. So the next time you're having a conversation with someone, listen to how many times you have to, you must, you need to, in order to, we gotta, okay, and all of the ones that you just had. And they're telling you what their beliefs are. And if you listen to yourself, you'll begin to hear what your beliefs are. 85% of what we believe we are not conscious of. Okay? So just start doing that. I have a little routine that I do that says, in the past, I believe this. In the past, I believe this. Going forward, I'm going to believe this. Okay, I'm going to change it. It helps me, may not help you, but it helps me to physically throw it over my shoulder and be done with it. Okay, so just think about beliefs, because that's a really important component. We'll talk a little bit more about that. There's 7 laws of nature or principles of life. These are constant, and I'm thinking you probably all know them. Everything in existence is love. Expressing intelligently, and sometimes we question how intelligently it expresses itself, through energy. So everything in existence is love, this energy. It is expressing itself in some manner, okay? Whether, and it's intelligently expressing to the degree that it can, through its energy, some action, okay? So we do Homes for Heroes here. It's really love, okay? Expressing as intelligently as the program was created and can do. And it's wonderful, and it provides great energy to our veterans and our other first responders. I have a brother who was a fire chief or fire captain in St. Paul. So another one of those. Our thoughts, what we're thinking, directs our energy. It's another law of nature. You've heard that many times. Be careful what you think. You'll create it. It'll be showing up in the morning. You've seen it. How many of you have done that? Created something, thinking about it, think about it too much. Next thing you know, it's here. I used to do a presentation for Unlimited Futures, and I would talk about a horse. I grew up on the farm, rode a horse to country school and back again, spent a lot of time with horses. So I would talk about getting really clear about this vision of creating this horse that I wanted to have in my life, and I knew how the nose felt, and I knew how it smelled, and I knew all of these pieces, and I realized I needed to stop, or it was going to be in the front yard, and I had no place to put it, so I had to pick a new thing to talk about. The law of attraction and repulsion. We've all heard this. We see it with magnets, right? There's those pieces. You've seen it scientifically. It is out there. It is a law. It just happens. Giving and receiving are two sides of a coin. This group is excellent on giving. Obviously, very excellent. How good are you at receiving? Okay. How about you individually? Are you good at receiving? Okay. Think about it. I know you're good at giving. That's part of what I know. But it is a law of nature, and it's important that you can give and receive. Everything in the relative world is always changing. Doesn't that just make you mad? Wouldn't you like it to sometimes be the same? But it never is it? Everything is changing, and right now it feels like the whole world is in uproar. Every place I look, something's falling apart. The businesses aren't working in the same way. They're reorganizing themselves. Anybody heard of chat AI? I love it. Oh yeah. Okay, but it's really, everything's changing, and it is always changing in the relative world. Okay. However, the consistency is everything's love, acting out of intelligence, directing energy, right? So we got to remember those pieces. Beliefs, number 6, we talked about beliefs, are simply information we've accepted as truth, right? We made them up. And sometimes they serve us really well. And sometimes we need to change them and move them forward. And again, the impact in project management, and this one in particular is critical. And we all make our own choices, either by actively making them or by actively not making them. We make choices. I have a number of choices that I've been happy about, and there are some that still haunt me today that I made that I'm not happy about.
And a choice and a decision.
Talk to me about that.
A choice is, I need to find a car. This one has gas mileage, safety, this, it has whatever, and that's the decision. It meets all these wickets. The choice is, I want that Mustang. Or I want that whatever. Whatever it is. So there's a difference between a decision and a choice.
Okay, that's it.
I decide by a gift.
And everyone is different. I have a very, very dear friend, and 99% of what he does is a decision, and he has Excel spreadsheets that are pros and cons and left and rights and weighing and all that other stuff and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I would like raspberry ice cream. We'll go out to dinner, and it will take you 45 minutes to choose or make decision as to what they want. I'm like, I'm looking. That's the one I want. And I can do Excel spreadsheet.
It's interesting to hear this, okay? Because it is a belief.
That
Okay?
there's a difference between a decision and choice.
Yeah. That's your belief.
Now I can think of this.
But do you recognize
The seven
that it's a belief?
something to affect, 7 habits you have affected, because I think the 8th habit was understanding the power of choice.
Sure, sure. Becky?
No, it is a thing. It's when we say I choose. Something or react differently. Say,
Correct. I choose, I am, all of those things reactive. Yes, that impacts your brain differently. But it is a choice. I mean, it's a belief.
okay.
Okay? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying we walk around telling people who we are by our beliefs, by how we act, by what we talk about. We also do that from a behavioral standpoint. And you're probably all familiar with that in terms of the people with the 15 spreadsheets on the one subject, one very different behavior side, and then me up here
But it's
directing
great.
traffic.
If I can't remember somebody's name, he has a spreadsheet of the date when we met that person. Yeah. It's fantastic. When he watched a movie, if he checked it out from the library or got it from Redbox.
So if I invite dinner, you have the link.
No, I believe it.
And you, this first one, can you unpack that? I'm not sure I understand it. It certainly has.
That's okay. Everything in existence is love. Okay. That is a core piece that everything, the stuff, tables, trees, everything is love. It's basically the energy vibration that's going on. It's one of the ways.
It's
The frequency and the fact that we are all made up of different cells, and they come together in different ways, different densities, all the rest of that. That's what that first piece is about. And each piece, then the cells operate out of whatever intelligence is in that cell. It's part of that cell. Okay, what its job is. Does that make sense?
not,
Oh,
but
okay.
keep going.
Okay.
I might get there.
Well, and it does that through the energy, around the vibrational levels. Different things are different levels of density, different, what it's called. Anyhow, they have different levels of vibration, different paths, and they connect with each other and form different. Not make pretend.
Well, you're talking about pattern. Still, what is up in this?
It's not
I
the,
think that's kind of key in
it's,
the energy at that.
yeah, it is not the romantic love or any of that kind of
Correct.
stuff. It is about, it is, and I don't know better how to say it, around the essence of being is about, oh,
We're not
I
saying that
believe
love
it
is
to be
not
God without saying that it is God. Because she's kind of
Got
talking about electromagnetic
universal
spectrum,
intelligence.
which love is not on the electromagnetic spectrum. In fact, there is an electromagnetic spectrum, maybe because of a higher power that. I don't know.
Yes, Becky, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, I have a story, and I don't know if you know that you're question. There was this fabulous science museum in Sarasota, and my raised with wall here. 10 brain waves. That's all. So my high grad youngest child said, I will tell you, okay, I said, save yourself love is the highest help that you have. And one of the things he did for everybody, and all these kids, he said, don't, just get it, all you can do. But, you know, it has to do with frequency and energy. And this is sort of a weird example was focus on that. And the high level frequency because it is the highest vibration there is.
Yes.
And the consciousness and all that other yin yang stuff. And he basically just.
Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Becky.
And the reason
Appreciate it.
is, I was very skeptical of many things, and then he created a robotic arm for a person. They put a headband, no influence, and no, not invasive pulse. And just from Fox, they James and Cody, the arm, did a video of their proof, which was her gravity and with the mechanical arm, both and bring it into class. And I gave them the brain there. And that kind of changed up there. So I think I understand what it says.
Okay, well, thank you to everyone who helped. I appreciate it. Okay. Let me go on to the next slide. I don't want to run out of time here, Becky, so I think I'm getting close. I've talked about the 7 steps in the creative process. Becky has talked about them. Number 1 is clarity. When you're working on a project, the clearer you can be about the project, the better off you are. And getting really clear about it will help drive it for success. Now, the first time you get clear about the project is not the last time. You will continue as you work with the project to peel the onion. You're going to have things come up to say, oh, we hadn't thought that part through as well. Or we need this, or this piece came in from this side. So clarity is an ongoing process. And when you've done the meditation and the yoga stuff and you are calmer, or not calmer, but more connected, more grounded, you will have even more clarity. You'll wake up with stuff in the morning, okay? It's very interesting how it works. The next piece is, and this is what Dr. Stevens created when she came to the understanding of how this all works. Number 2 is visualizing. What is the vision of this project that you're working on? Do you have a vision? Is it written down in the 5 senses? Taste, smell, touch, see, hear. That's one of the pieces, and that probably is not on any project management sheet that I'm aware of, okay? Of what is the real vision of this project. 6 months from now, if we've accomplished it, what would it have looked like? And does everyone have that same vision? Because you've got your individual visions and you have your collective vision. And as you work with a group, making sure that everyone has the same vision and is talking about it is really critical. Because otherwise you're off in left field on some component and you've got to do all those other things of leadership and course correction, etc. Acceptance. This is the other name for beliefs. And this is the hardest part of any process of creating what you want to have in your life. Whether it's a job that you want at the job fair, a successful project, a new house, good health, whatever it is, the beliefs are what are driving the bus. And 85% of them you don't even know about. So start experiencing what your beliefs are and write them down if you need to. Say, does that still serve me? Does it serve this project, the project that we're working on? do I really believe we can do this? What do the stakeholders believe? It's an important piece to get up front. Okay, what does the leadership of the company believe? What does the team next door believe about our ability, and do we need to work with them? There's just a lot of pieces there, and this is where things go awry. Right here under acceptance, which is also known as the beliefs. Doing the yoga, doing the meditation, however you do it, whether it's in the fishing boat or out camping or, whatever, is going to help you have more clarity and more capacity to move through these beliefs, to identify them, believe them, or speak about them and change them to be what you want them to be. Focus becomes a really important key. Our capacity to focus is about 3 seconds. If you put a candle in front of you and you look at the light, you can maybe stay focused 3 seconds on the candlelight before something trots through your mind and you're over here. All right? If you don't believe me, try it. Okay? Our capacity to focus, because we are so overstressed in our lives and we think it's normal, we need to work on that. And it will help you in your capacity to get the project done. I have a gal who works for, I forget the name of the place, out in Seattle, Google or one of those places. Yeah, probably Microsoft, that's what it is. Project manager. She has found doing her program, which is the meditation and the energizers, the yogas, twice a day, that she wakes up in the morning and she is very clear about the 2 or 3 things that are really important to get done that day. It has helped her significantly. So that's one of the ways that people use this program, is to help with those kinds of things. So our capacity to focus becomes real important. And as you're doing your project, are you focused on it? What does that look like? Okay. And is everybody else focused on their role? Okay, those are things to question. Intuitive guidance. This is where it gets to be fun, because this is where you can welcome, how do I solve this problem? Write it down at night, go to bed, in the morning you'll have an answer. Now, that's not always true, but the intuition comes to us in many ways. What are some of the ways that you've experienced it? The sensation, feeling in your stomach, a note on the refrigerator. You listened to a commercial and you heard, oh my God, that's what I need to do. Okay, took you off in a whole different direction. Have everybody experienced different ways of intuitive guidance coming to you?
No.
Pardon?
No.
Just knowing. Not intellectually calculating it and having the spreadsheets, but just a knowingness.
In stressful situations, sometimes it's no. If you don't want to take another step, no. You want to get down.
Uh-huh.
Or you don't want to run down. Yes, no.
Right.
Don't say it. A lot of people experience it. If it's a high stress situation, it's very quiet. Yes, no.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You've all been there, you've all experienced it, and you've learned to trust it when it really counted, right? Excuse me.
Non-high stress situations.
Yeah.
I have intuition. I don't know. It doesn't look the same. Maybe.
You certainly can in non-stress. Yeah. Yeah. It isn't always stress related, and it'll be clear intuition the more you can lower your stress. Okay. The next step, 6th step, is taking action. When you get that intuitive inspiration, take action. Do what you're being led to do. Trust it. Got to take action. If you just sit back and think about it all day, nothing's going to happen. So there is action to be taken, okay? And you'll know what that is And then, of course, there's the celebration of creating what it is you wanted. Whether it's a job at the job fair, whether it's a new house, whether it's a good fishing boat, it's just great, or a chainsaw. Somebody wants a chainsaw here. A chain. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop because I think I've used my time. Okay. We have classes and I can do all that promotional stuff if you're interested in it.